Alright, I feel like for the past few months, we've been talking about Tommy Fury and this and that with his fight with KSI, but we haven't talked about his older brother, Tyson Fury, in a while. Tyson Fury, of course, is arguably one of the greatest heavyweight boxers of all time, and is the current heavyweight champion of boxing, but not the undisputed, of course. Oleksandr Usyk is that, and finally, it looks like this fight is going to be made between Tyson Fury versus Oleksandr Usyk, but people are wondering, the Ngannou fight is still happening. You know, it is happening October 27th, I believe. Is Tyson Fury overlooking Francis Ngannou? Does Ngannou even have a chance? And if Tyson Fury beats Usyk, does he become the greatest heavyweight champ of all time? I'm going to answer all those questions and more, but first, I want to remind you guys to hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share. We're trying to 20K by the end of the year. You guys are the best fan base in MMA, so I know you guys are going to help me with that goal, but I guess I should say boxing, because we're going to be talking more boxing today. And yeah, there's been a lot of news with Tyson Fury over the past couple months that I just have not covered because I'm mostly an MMA channel, but I do like to tune in for the occasional big boxing fight, and this is another big fight. Anytime Tyson Fury is involved, you know it's going to be a big fight, right? He could be fighting a bum and most people are going to watch. He fought Derek Chisora a third time and yet filled out a stadium with over 100,000 people. And let's be honest, everybody knew he was going to beat Derek Chisora. The fight wasn't even that good. And yeah, it seemed like Tyson Fury's just been messing around, and I honestly did not think that this fight was going to happen. I thought that Tyson Fury was like, look, Usyk's not worth the money. He doesn't have that name. First thing I want to say, and I made a video about this a long time ago, I don't think Tyson Fury was ducking Oleksandr Usyk. However, let's not deny the facts. Usyk is a hard fight, and Usyk doesn't have that name to a casual audience that maybe an Ngannou will have. So from Tyson Fury's point of view, he's choosing between Ngannou, a guy who is a UFC champion, who has the UFC fan base that'll bring numbers to a pay-per-view because the UFC fans will be watching it, who also has a puncher's chance. There's a really good storyline attached to it, versus Usyk. That's a harder fight without the bigger name. I think it's pretty obvious what most people would pick in that situation. However, I will say, whatever you can say about Tyson Fury, I do understand his decision making, and I don't think he's afraid of Usyk, but this just shows that Tyson Fury no longer cares about his legacy, because that was what he's sacrificing by going through with these stupid exhibitions and things like that. So if Tyson Fury wants to do it, I understand, but if he doesn't fight Usyk, then he can't really call himself the best heavyweight of all time. But the fight is finally gonna happen, it turns out. Now, before I get into the Usyk and Tyson Fury fight, I want to talk about the Ngannou and Fury fight. Now, this fight I barely talked about on the channel because there hasn't been so much buzz. I'm hoping once we get to fight week, there might be a little bit more buzz, and I will definitely be tuning in to see how Ngannou does. But if you guys have seen the footage of him boxing, it's not looking good. Guys, we know this. MMA fighters cannot go into boxing. All right, we saw Ben Askren, an MMA fighter. Askren was undefeated for like decades, go into a boxing match with Jake Paul, a guy who had only had like 2 fights at the time, and got sparked in 1 round. And I get it, Askren isn't exactly the best striker, but even when you look at the guys like Woodley, like Anderson, and Anderson did have some success in boxing. So when you take these MMA guys and put them in boxing, it just doesn't work. I don't need to tell you guys this. I'm sure like everybody knows this by now, but it just doesn't work, let alone arguably one of the greatest heavyweight champions of all time. What makes this fight more interesting than other fights is the fact that Ngannou does have that one-punch knockout power. We saw with Alistair Overeem, we saw with Stipe, the guy has power. Jairzinho Rozenstruik, he knocked out in 20 seconds. Like, there's a scenario where maybe Ngannou could just blitz out, catch Tyson Fury, and fuck up this whole Usyk Fury plan that they have. And holy shit, the money that Ngannou would make in a rematch would be insane. I think the UFC would probably be coming back to Ngannou trying to figure out a deal. However, I don't think that's gonna happen. At the end of the day, the boxing gloves are a lot bigger than the MMA gloves, so honestly, Tyson Fury just has to put his hands up, and yes, of course, some shots are gonna get through, but my point is that the impact isn't as great as MMA is, mixed with the fact we've also seen Tyson Fury get hit by Deontay Wilder, which I believe he hits harder than Ngannou, but regardless, he got hit clean multiple times, and each time he didn't lose the fight, right? I mean, he had that one draw in the first fight, then he knocked him out the other 2 times. He gets dropped, gets back up, and what's Ngannou gonna really do that's different? Another thing about Ngannou that has me worried about the matchup is that he really gets his power from his hooks, from his uppercuts. You don't really see him throwing a clean right hand and knocking someone out. For that, you have to get close to Tyson Fury, and Tyson has a really good jab, he has a good movement, he has good ring IQ that he's going to be able to navigate Francis Ngannou and basically control him with the jab, I think. So that's how I think the fight's going to wind up happening. I think we're going to see Ngannou get touched up by the jab, get touched up by Fury, and I think it ends within 3 rounds. I think Fury's going to knock him out bad. I think it's going to be a bad look for Ngannou, because Ngannou gasses fast. That's another thing to think about. So yeah, this isn't like a Deontay Wilder that has a, you know, a straight right hand going down the middle. I think Tyson Fury is going to be nice and long. I mean, he's 6'9". I think Ngannou is 6'4", so there's like a 5-inch advantage for Tyson Fury, and I don't even know what their reach is. But look, Ngannou does hit hard, and I think if he goes to the body, I think there might be some openings for him there. We saw Deontay Wilder have some success in that 3rd fight going to the body early on. So for me, I just think that this is going to be a really bad look on Ngannou, but at least he's going to get paid and move on to the PFL and get paid even more there. So look, if he just wants money, then he got it. But let's move on to the fight that I think most boxing fans are excited about, Oleksandr Usyk versus Tyson Fury. Now, this fight has been talked about for about 2 years, since Usyk first beat AJ. That was the fight to make. We've seen these guys have face-to-face. I mean, there's so much hype about the fight, and I think that this fight is going to do really well. This is the number 1 versus number 2 guy. I mean, it's rare we get these in boxing. Luckily, nowadays, boxing fights are actually starting to get made more and more, so let's hope that this trend continues and maybe boxing will start doing better. But it's a little unorthodox to have a fight announced before the Ngannou fight even happens. Now, we have seen similar situations like this. Like, Katie Taylor did fight somebody earlier this year, and at the end of it, they announced a rematch with Amanda Serrano. Obviously, it was a done deal beforehand. However, that was still after the fight, right? It was on the night. It was still on the event. I think they should have done something similar here, but they didn't. But it just shows that Tyson Fury is really underestimating Francis Ngannou. So is Fury disrespecting Ngannou? Very. Like, this is very disrespectful to Ngannou. But let's be real. Like, Ngannou isn't going to beat Fury, so I really have no doubts about it. But if he does, yeah, Tyson Fury is going to look like an idiot for booking this fight. And honestly, I'm going to rage as a boxing fan because I've been wanting to see this fight for a while. But how does Tyson Fury do against Oleksandr Usyk? Now, this fight is interesting. I think a lot of people are going to probably wind up picking Fury, and I might as well. But there's a lot of things that Oleksandr Usyk does that's going to make the fight interesting. First of all, I think the size advantage is going to go to Tyson Fury, but Oleksandr Usyk heading into that AJ rematch looked really big. But in his last fight, he didn't look as big. Like, it looked like he went down. I don't know if he lost weight or anything. I don't really pay attention to the weight and all that stuff. I'm not that big of a boxing fan. But still, in my opinion, from what I saw, he did look smaller. And Tyson Fury is a big heavyweight, right? I mean, we've seen him weigh in almost at 300 pounds. Against Deontay Wilder, he was really big. And we're going to see what he comes in at against Francis Ngannou. And I think it's interesting because he's probably already training for Usyk. He's probably not even training for Francis Ngannou. So it is going to be weird because Ngannou is an orthodox fighter while Usyk is a southpaw. And I'm just wondering where Tyson Fury's head out. Like, is this just for the money? Like, why else would you take a fight that close together? Like, apparently the rumored date is December 23rd, and that would be a couple days before Christmas at the end of the year. Do I think they're going to reach that December 23rd date? I actually don't think so. I think they're going to wind up pushing this thing back to January, maybe even February. I honestly don't expect this to happen December 23rd. However, I think if Usyk is going to win, I think he's going to have to rely on his movement, his fast movement, getting on the inside and out-voluming Tyson Fury. That's probably the best case. And another thing to think about is because Tyson Fury is an orthodox fighter and Usyk is a southpaw, the jab from Fury isn't going to be as easy to get into. Now, to be fair, Fury has been boxing for a long time, so I don't think this will be so much of an issue, but so has Usyk, and Usyk is a very smart fighter. I think as of right now, today, I think if I had to pick somebody, gun to my head, I would probably pick Tyson Fury. I think Usyk would have struggled more against AJ if AJ, number 1, was a better technical boxer, and number 2, had the cardio to keep up 12 rounds. Like, AJ wasn't gassed necessarily, but he couldn't go full 100% because of his cardio, right? There were rounds that he took off, and Usyk really capitalized on that, and he won a decision. Will he be able to do that with Tyson Fury, who does have some good cardio, who has gone 12 rounds comfortably before, who has been boxing since he was probably like 5? So yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Tyson Fury. I think he's gonna keep him at his jab. I think he has the power advantage. I don't think we're gonna see Usyk knock out Tyson Fury, but you never know. Crazier things have happened in boxing. There was a time where people swore that Tyson Fury was gonna knock out Deontay Wilder. Obviously now it's happened twice, but I'm excited for the fight. I really hope this happens. I hope that there's nothing in the way. Who knows, maybe Ngannou will ruin this whole thing. But let me know if you guys want me to do more breakdowns on Ngannou's boxing, maybe reacting to some of the clips. As we get closer, I'm sure I will do more videos talking about the fight. As of right now, it's just so far away, and I don't think there's a lot of hype around it. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Who do you guys think is going to win, Ngannou and Fury? And who do you think is going to win, Usyk or Fury? Let me know in the comment section below. Let me know, and I'll respond. You guys are the best fan base in MMA. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.